Hey again, everybody. This is Comic Book Hangover with my weekly review haul video where I go over the books that I picked up last week, some of them, and then share with you what I picked up this week at my local comic book shop. So let's just jump right into it. First up, and then this is, as always, in no particular order, I grabbed the Power Rangers Unlimited. This is the origin of the Power Rangers villainess Astronema. It's also a partial origin for another Power Rangers villainess, I believe Divatox is her name. And this is a good issue. It was not too bad. The only thing is I get so tired of how these villains, we get their origins, and their origins are always they make the villains seem like the victims, you know. I remember when Dan Slott was writing Superior Spider-Man, and they went into Doc Ock's history, and they showed that he was picked on and he was abused as a child, and that's sort of why he became the way he is. I kind of miss the days when a villain was a villain because he was an ass, you know. He was an evil jerk, and that's just how he was. He had a bad childhood or anything like that. But in this one here, we find out that Astronema was actually raised to believe that the Power Rangers killed her family because her family was too powerful and a threat to the Power Rangers. So it seems like she is being told that the Rangers are the bad guys. So she has that sort of weirdness in her head. But I mean, overall, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. This does continue. This itself is a one-shot. This Power Rangers Unlimited is going to be a series of one-shots, from my understanding, focusing on different characters or something like that. But the story that starts in this will continue in this month's Power Rangers number 6. So I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. But if you're a fan of the series, especially if you're a fan of Astronema and possibly Divatox, I think it's Divatox, definitely check this one out. And it's got a pretty cool cover to it too. The next one I picked up that I want to talk about is Beta Ray Bill, number 1. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries from Marvel. Oh, the art. I had to get used to the art. Took me a couple of pages, but once I got used to the art, it does fit the style of story that they're telling here. And this is where this picks up after the events of Thor, where Thor had destroyed Stormbreaker, Beta Ray Bill's weapon of choice. And losing that also, in a way, made Bill lose his identity and also his ability to change back to his regular form. So this one sets up his quest to find himself, which is going to be nice. It'll be nice to see Bill do something different. And Beta Ray Bill's always been one of my favorite characters. But if you're a fan of Beta Ray Bill, I would definitely check that out. There's multiple covers for this, as there always are, because it's a Marvel book, and Marvel has to have 50 variant covers for every single book. This is one I picked up. This is the Stormbreaker's cover. Stormbreaker's cover. That was good. X-Men Legends number 2. If you're a fan of the 90s X-Men, definitely grab this series. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait for the next one. It's going to have X-Factor and Apocalypse, and it's going to be very much late 80s, 90s style. But it was good. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say about it other than the fact it was a really entertaining read. And if you're a fan of X-Men, especially if you're a fan of 90s X-Men, as I said, definitely pick that up. Moving on, we've got Steve Orlando writing Man-Thing in Avengers, Curse of the Man-Thing, celebrating Man-Thing's 50th anniversary in the Marvel Universe. We got this other character, this new character, the Horror, I think her name is. She is using Man-Thing to spread fear around the world, and as anybody knows, anyone who knows fear burns at the touch of the Man-Thing. So she's basically wanting to burn the entire world down using Man-Thing's fear, fire-based powers. It's weird. Man-Thing's a really interesting. He's one of my favorite characters. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. But I think part of it is because he's such a difficult character to write. Even referring to Man-Thing as he is kind of a mistake, because they've always explained back in the original 70s run, they often explain that Man-Thing isn't. It doesn't have a mind. It is just swamp. It is a reactionary creature. It doesn't even know that it exists. So to refer to Man-Thing as he is wrong. It's more accurately it. I mean, it's just this mass of swamp mess that is very semi-sentient. I mean, to the point where it does move, it does react. It reacts to strong emotions. It's because it doesn't have the intelligence enough to have its own emotions. At least that's how the character used to be explained. I'm not sure what's going on now, because I guess Blade in one of the Avengers books has a little mini man thing, which makes no sense to me at all. But whatever, it's a book that I don't read. But I think this is setting up something rather interesting for Man-Thing. I hope it does, because Man-Thing is a very underutilized character, and I'm hoping that Steve Orlando is able to continue to write the character. I mean, right now, Man-Thing barely shows up in this issue. He's more of a subplot in its own book, but I'm hoping that once Man-Thing is in the book proper, that we're going to see how well Steve Orlando writes it. I have faith in Steve Orlando. I hope he does a good job, because like I said, Manny is one of my favorite characters, and it deserves to have the respect and it deserves to be placed on the same level that it was back in the 70s. As the 70s, the original 70s run, it's an amazing run of books. It's awesome. And finally, I grabbed these ones. Ghost Rider. This is the King in Black Ghost Rider one shot. The King in Black thing is over now at the end of this week. Thank God for that. This one here, this kind of reminded me of back in the 90s when the Dan Ketch series ended. Now, for those of you who weren't reading books back then, Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider series, that's the series that got me into comic books. And it got up to the 90s, issue 90, issue 91. And I remember they put out a magazine, Marvel did, and they were talking about how in Ghost Rider number 100, there's going to be this big status quo change, and they're going to launch in this bold new era for the Ghost Rider. And then it just went downhill fast. They made the announcement that the Ghost Rider number 94 was actually going to be the final issue. And then issue 93 came out and they said, well, actually, we're going to lose money if we put out issue 94, so we're not going to do it. It's completed. It's in a drawer somewhere in the Marvel offices. We're just never going to do it. And it wasn't until that god-awful Nicolas Cage movie came out decades later that we finally got to see that final cut short issue of Ghost Rider issue 94. But after that, after we lost issue 100, and after we didn't even get the final issue, there was an issue of Spider-Man that Ghost Rider, the Dan Ketch Ghost Rider, appeared in, and in that appearance, Ghost Rider was separated from Dan Ketch, and he was losing control of his abilities, losing control of his Hellfire, and he was making references to things that had happened in the Ghost Rider books that we never got to see. So it made no sense at all. It just made me want to read what I was missing out on. This issue here is sort of like that. They do kind of make references to things that would have happened in later books. And my understanding is there's issues of the recent Ghost Rider series that they just never released. They just never published. And I was always thinking that what Marvel should do is when they put these books into a trade paperback, put those issues in that trade paperback so the fans can read them. I want to read them. Huge Ghost Rider fan. But this as a standalone, it does tie into the Ghost Rider series. This could have easily been an issue of Ghost Rider that crossed over into this whole King in Black nonsense. It works both as a crossover, but it also continues with a bit of a skip because the series ended. It continues Johnny Blaze's series. It does resolve some of the plot points in that series where Blaze is no longer King of Hell. He reinstates Mephisto. Blackheart is there and is seemingly helping his dad, which is weird because anytime I've ever read Blackheart, he's always trying to kill Mephisto and take over his realm. So we've got the return of some status quo. We've got Dan Ketch no longer being called the Spirit of Corruption, I think he was, and now calling himself Death Rider or some weird name like that. But they resolve some stuff, but they also set up some other stuff that we're probably never going to see any resolution to because Marvel is not publishing any more Ghost Rider books, which sucks. So we're now without a Ghost Rider. We're stuck with this Robbie Reyes character who drives a car and who isn't even actually a Spirit of Vengeance. But whatever, I've got plenty of Ghost Rider books that I can read and enjoy. So that's it. That's what I got last week. Some hits and some misses. It was kind of a mixed bag. But this week I picked up My second to last issue of Batman, number 107. Didn't grab any of the variant covers. This cover is actually pretty nice. I do really like this cover. I actually like this more than the variant covers. And I say a second to last issue because we've got so this is April. We got the May issue, and then starting in June, Batman goes up to a $6 cover price, and I am not going to pay $6 a month for a Batman comic. As much as I love the character and as much as I've enjoyed the series and the story, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. It's too much. So I've already decided I'm not even going to continue with Joker because that's going to be a $6 book. I'm not going to continue with Batman. Next issue, issue 108, is going to be the final issue for me, which is sad because I really enjoyed it. The next couple of them here that I grabbed, these are first issues from Image Books. This is actually a really nice cover. Geiger, number 1. Now I'm not sure what's going on with this. I wanted this one because I thought the cover was cool. The solicitation really wasn't that exciting for me, but the cover was pretty cool. I'm going to read it. Hopefully the actual book exceeds the expectations set by the solicitation because, like I said, the solicits for it were kind of lackluster, but my LCS actually had a limit of 1 per customer for this book. So I'm really glad that I put my name on it. I put it on my list. The other one I grabbed, also from Image Comics, first issue, miniseries, Silver Coin, number 1. And continuing, also from Image, these are all Image books. Holy cow. Noctera, number 2. Again, with 2 covers, but this is one I like because this character here, I like that. He wasn't on the other cover, so I figured, what the heck, I'll grab this one. Mirka Andolfo's Deep Beyond, number 3 of 12. The Mirka Andolfo cover. I figure since it's her book, and her covers are hot, so why not? And because I guess I'm not allowed to give myself an entire week with just Image books. Actually, this is the first time ever that I could think of that I've had this many Image books all in one week. This is 4 Image books, 1 DC. So I grabbed 1 Marvel book this week. It was Avengers 44, but I don't read Avengers. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't read Avengers. I'm sure it's a great series. They're doing this Phoenix storyline. I think this is the issue 44 here is the last part of that. But the only reason why I picked this up is because this is the variant cover by Peach Momoko, and this is a very nice looking She-Hulk. So I had to grab that one. Now, speaking of She-Hulk, I'm confused about something with this character. I was reading the Avengers Curse of the Man-Thing book that I picked up last week, and she is talking like the Incredible Hulk, where she's not that intelligent. She doesn't use full sentences, and I'm very curious as to what the heck happened, because one of the things that I always liked about She-Hulk was that she was very intelligent, she was very articulate, and she did have that Hulk temper to her, but she always had control over that. And now that she's been sort of reduced to an idiot, I don't think the character, it doesn't work well for the character. Plus, the way she was drawn in that Avengers Man-Thing book, her muscles are way, way too big for her. I mean, the other thing that I liked about her was, she was fit, she was built, but she wasn't overly muscular, and that sort of, in a way that was deceptive because she was stronger than she looks, and I liked that. I liked that because when people on occasion would underestimate her abilities, she would kick their butt, and I like that. But I had to grab this one. It was. I know people are kind of getting burnt on Peach Momoko, but I love this cover. I know there's a Virgin variant version of it, but I didn't care. I wanted this one, and that's it. So that's all I've got this week. Everybody, thanks for watching. I picked up a couple more subscribers over the week. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for subscribing and supporting my channel. Please continue to do so. And if you have any spare moments, please like the video, share the video, hit that little bell thing down there if you want to get in keep up on my weekly videos. I do these every week, so I try to get them done every Thursday. And I'm working on some other stuff, so because I want to have more videos, more content. I know I keep saying that, but I am actually working on some other stuff. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have a second series going here. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I'll see everybody next week with another stack of comic books that I want to talk about. Have a good weekend.